You know that feeling when you say a word perfectly in your head, but the moment it comes out, someone looks at you like you're speaking Martian. Most of the time, it's not your vocabulary, it's your melody. It's that invisible barrier between textbook English and real-world English. Think about it. You've spent years studying grammar, you know your tenses, and you've passed the tests. But then you land in New York, London, or Toronto, and suddenly, everyone sounds like they're speaking a different language. They're linking words together. They're using slang you've never heard, and they're breaking every rule your teacher ever taught you. Today, I'm pulling back the curtain. We're going to break down the 10 biggest traps that give you away as an outsider and show you exactly how to sound legendary, no matter which side of the Atlantic you're on. Let's dive in. Part 1. The death of the letter T. Let's start with the letter T. In school, we're taught that T is a crisp, sharp sound. But if you walk into a deli in Brooklyn and ask for a water with a sharp T, you might as well be wearing a neon sign that says, "I'm not from here." In the US and Canada, we almost never say a true T in the middle of a word. It turns into a fast D sound. It's water. It's better. It's computer. But wait, if you cross over to London, that T doesn't become a D. Sometimes, it disappears entirely. It becomes a glottal stop. Wa-er. Understanding this one letter is the difference between sounding like a robot and sounding like a local. It's not about being lazy. It's about the rhythm of the city. Part 2. The magic of the schwa. If you want to know the single biggest secret to native English, you need to meet the schwa. It's the most common sound in English, yet it doesn't even have its own letter. It's that tiny, lazy, sound. Most learners try to pronounce every vowel with 100% energy. They say, about, or, present. But natives, we're efficient. We save our energy for the important syllables and turn everything else into a schwa. We say, about. We say support, instead of support. If you're giving every vowel equal weight, you're working too hard and your speech sounds choppy. The secret to that fluid, American flow. It's mastering the art of being linguistically lazy. Relax your jaw, let that schwa do the work, and watch how quickly people start nodding along with you. Part 3. The "how are you" trap. Now, let's talk about the social side. You're walking down a street in Chicago or Vancouver, and a stranger or a colleague says, "What's up?" or "How's it going?" Your instinct is to stop, think, and give them a genuine update on your life. "Well, I'm a bit tired today, and my car is acting up." Stop. In the West, "How are you?" is rarely a question, it's a high-speed greeting. If you give a long answer, you've just created an awkward moment. The correct response is almost always, "Good, you," or "Not much, what about you?" It's a verbal high five. Understanding this unwritten social code is just as important as your pronunciation. It's about matching the vibration of the culture you're in. Part 4. Linking the chain of speech. Have you ever felt like native speakers talk too fast? Here's the secret. We don't talk fast, we just don't stop between words. We link them like a chain. When an American says, "I have to go," they don't say 4 separate words. They say, "I have to go." It becomes one long musical phrase. If you're pausing between every word, you're making the listener's brain work harder to piece your sentence back together. To sound like you belong in a boardroom in Toronto or a pub in Manchester, you have to learn to glue your words. Connect the consonant at the end of one word to the vowel at the start of the next. Don't say, "Pick it up." Say, "Pickatoop." Suddenly, you're not just speaking English, you're flowing in it. Part 5. The Transatlantic Vocabulary War. And of course, we can't forget the words that change completely when you cross the ocean. Imagine telling your British friends you're going to wear your new vest to the party. In the US, that's a stylish outer layer. In the UK, you just told them you're showing up in your undershirt. From gas versus petrol to apartment versus flat, these vocabulary traps are everywhere. But it's not just the words, it's the intent. In the UK, sarcasm is a primary language. If a Brit says, "That's a brave choice," they probably mean it's a terrible idea. In the US, people tend to be more literal and enthusiastic. Navigating these cultural nuances is what turns a speaker into a communicator. Conclusion. The legendary finish. At the end of the day, speaking legendary English isn't about having zero accent or knowing every word in the dictionary. It's about melody, rhythm, and culture. It's about realizing that English is a living, breathing thing that changes from the streets of London to the mountains of Canada. When you start focusing on the melody, instead of just the words, something magical happens. The Martian looks disappear. People stop asking where you're from and start asking what you think. You stop being a guest in the language and start becoming a part of it. So, my challenge to you is this: pick one thing we talked about today. Maybe it's the T sound, maybe it's the schwa, or maybe it's just the way you answer, "What's up?" Use it tomorrow. Practice it until it feels natural. Because you don't need to be perfect to be understood, you just need to be relatable. Thanks for being part of this story today. If you're ready to take your English to the next level and finally sound like a local, hit that subscribe button and join our community. I've got so much more to share with you. Until next time, keep practicing, keep flowing, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.